So good evening, going live for another episode of Coffee and Conversation. Even though this conversation usually takes place in the morning, we do drink coffee in the evening, especially when we've been running since this morning. I think this is like my third cup. But be that as it may. Let's get this started. So I guess the talk of the day was about Kendrick Lamar and his fantastic, I would call it a work of absolute art for so many different reasons. I thought it was spectacular, but I'm not going to make this live about that tonight because I entitled this Political Controversy. Now, whereas you see Kendrick using hip hop in the essence of what it's supposed to be, because I don't know what these other people, who are controlling the industry has made it. I don't even want to listen to it. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, it's not personal, but with the Sexy Reds and all of the rest of them, that you're just doing something that's anti what garners respect for a nation within a nation that has been widely disrespected. It's problematic, right? But at best, let's talk about the controversy. So there are still conversations that are going on, even though the presidential election is over, even though we don't see Kamala anymore, right? There are people who are still saying, I should have voted for Kamala. We should have looked what y'all voted for. Look what you voted for. Let me be clear. This is a uni party, period. It's a uni party. If you look at the candidates, right, from a very objective standpoint, right, you see that, and I don't know if you see, so let me not take that for granted. There are so many other people, men and women, who would have been such serious candidates, who would have literally formulated, not followed, but formulated a plan for an extremely successful country. And these people were overlooked, right? For what you can almost constitute as clowns, right? Jesters, if you will, that they put up before us, and just doing all types of things that's uncalled for, very disrespectful things. And so we know what that means. And I don't need to get specific about that because I want to keep it about the political controversy. And I also want to talk about, when we say jesters, right, what do we mean? People who are clowning. I'm going to keep coming back to this as long as I deem it possible. There should be nobody clowning in politics when it comes to our people living in horrendous conditions. And I'm talking about bed bugs inside of the senior buildings. And God forbid you say something about it, then you kicked out and you're homeless and you're living on the street, right? In one single digit weather. And then even for us to feed people, now we have to pay a fee to do that. So, we see these types of situations. Like, I know an officer right now, and for some of you that's on with me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say names, but I know a woman who was a former officer, and she's living at the park down from me. And we do a lot to try to help, people. But at the end of the day, people go through a lot, and everybody can't get through what they go through always. So these are people who have fallen prey to the war that we're in, that many people can feign ignorance about, even the realization of that very real war that is occurring, right? And in saying that, I want to share with you a clip that I saw, because this is not, obviously, Newark is not the only place that this is happening in. So I don't know if you were aware, but this clip is a little over a minute.
My name is Shemaine Laster, but they know me as Big Mike. And I used to be employed by Care for the Homeless right here at 427 West 52nd Street. They got staff that's in here selling drugs. The conditions in here are bad. The director's office that's right there, she's involved with a whole lot of the things that's going on in here. She has knowledge of all the things that are happening. I was called by HR on Monday and told me I'm not a good fit for Care for the Homeless. That's solely because I was reporting bed bugs, I was reporting the mold, that's in the bathrooms. I was reporting that they got staff that's selling drugs. Homeless lives matter also. I'm here to talk about the homeless people that are here right now in this building.
Okay, you get the gist of what's going on. This happens not to be Newark, but it doesn't matter. It's always in an urban community near you, where you don't hear any African-American reps speaking to these issues, right? And you take a Maxine Waters, respectfully, right? You take a Maxine Waters who is going all out because of an audit. This very seasoned, a representative, right, of the United States has taken a stand to even start using profanity, right? Because why? You don't know how to express yourself after all of this time. And like I said, we're talking about Maxine Waters. And how does her district look? It's pretty much known and put out there. So I just want to know, like, who's writing the script for these things. And regardless of who's writing it, I need to know who's watching this, going along with this clown show like it's serious. I want to know who is still listening to them fight against an audit, saying, like giving it any type of legitimacy. And I get it with these people because they're not boots to the ground, right? They're millionaires. They don't walk through their districts. They don't congregate at all with people like me and you, like the regular everyday people. So they don't know. They have to rely on social media for how they construct their campaigns or their messaging, right? And social media is just not the best place because the average person I know living in Newark is not even on social media, right? If you're homeless, you're not on social media. Many of the seniors that's dealing with the bed bugs and the people that this gentleman is talking about, the clip I just showed you, these people are not on social media all day. So there's a disconnect between the reps that we have in place, right, and what's actually going on. And so let's talk a little bit about these reps. So we have, again, another rep that just left from the city of Newark that didn't have their petitions in, but nonetheless was able to proceed to Congress to just get there and immediately start voting for illegal immigrants. They don't have to follow the process. And not only that, voting for, even if they rape and break the law, that they will not be sent back where they came from. Not only that, these same people who get voting rights, do they not know as African Americans that we still have to be approved to maintain our voting rights every 50 years by the president? I'm telling you, like, this stuff doesn't make sense. And the only thing that ranks worse than the clown show that's going on with the politics are the people who are either complicit and just not saying anything at all, or the people who are actually saying, how could you not support the Democrats? Why is it that none of these people gave us voting rights that are one and done? Why is it that you would give illegal immigrants coming into the country illegally? So I guess we pick and choose when we break the laws, similar to like how when our white counterparts as young boys get caught with a gun and they just sent home for having a gun that didn't belong to them, whereas our young boys get 3 to 5 years. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it's clearly two tiers going on here. Even if you look at the case with Sean Combs, why is it that certain people, like the guy from Abercrombie and Fitch, why is it that certain people get to come out to fight their case on the ground? Why is it that, but in comparison, this guy has been denied over and over bail? Why is that? Their accusations. Their accusations. So we see a pattern of behavior, right? And so in it, like I said, it matters who goes to Congress, who votes on these laws, and who goes to Congress in the name of being a representative for the African American community, but when they get there, they don't vote, right? As it's aligned in our best or common interest. They don't vote for would-be legislature. I'm not saying that right. Legislative laws that protect us. I have yet to see anybody championing for the hate crime bill, which sat under 4 years under Kamala, and I hope I'm saying her name right, Kamala and Joe Biden. Not only that, the reparation bill, it sat because they need to do a study. No one needs to do a study. You got to be deaf, dumb, and blind if you don't know the black people are being mistreated. And listen, I'm not a victim like many of us. We don't claim victimhood. People still get up every day, go to work, bust their butt, take care of their family and friends, and don't ask for nothing many times. And so it's not about victimization. It's about a country that is willing to give voting rights, for just an example, to illegal aliens. Rename them outside of the law. What's the word that they give them? What's the terminology? Undocumented citizens. Knock it off. It's against the law. And not only that, it's against what the now president, like him or not, has stated that he does not want, or else he's going to put sanctions in for sanctuary cities, whereas they're not going to get federal dollars. So we're already dealing with homelessness. We're already dealing with these situations. And as you've heard the guy that I just played the clip for, that guy has lost his job for speaking truth to power. So there is another issue that is consistent in black communities, that black people or African American people are used, right, from a higher power to go after each other, to be the catalyst, just like in the situation with what I'm going to call an insurgency, because, right, was it our rep, LaMonica McIver, who actually called and said, spoke publicly at the mic and said, this is war? How is that different from what you were accusing Trump of doing? And so if there's no distinction between the two, my thing is, one can't talk about the other one. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. And so for people who say, oh, well, the Dems are the lesser of two evils, you're taking away the fact that no one should be evil. We should not be voting in evil to govern over us, and then argumentative every day of your life saying how one is better than the other. It's insanity, for real. It's insanity. So with that being said, I want to go to another point real quick that's also insanity. The fact that we literally have governance here in the city of Newark that is a mayor. And I want to share a couple of clips too. Many of you may have seen these clips because this guy is making a lot of them. All of them are not related to the mayor. And I want to say that what the claims that he's making are alleged. I don't know if they're true or not, but I'm sorry. Like sometimes you got to wonder if it is or not. But again, I'm saying alleged. I don't know. I even posted, are these allegations true? I don't think he said anything, but I think he's going through something because he had police, he feels like, forced on him from the local government. Listen, I'm very transparent about what I deal with in this community as a person who does speak truth to power. And I will stand by the fact that I don't care. There's no way that anybody black in governance should be sicking police or using police as a personal tool to go against other African American people. Because honestly, if there was access to have these conversations legitimately, people would not have to come on. And I know myself, we would not have to come on social media to get our points across. But because there's no access, because people know they're dead wrong, and so they're not going to entertain a conversation with you, because what can they say at the end of the day if they're not willing to apologize? Because see, apologizing means that I have accepted culpability for what I've done. And so at that point, change is the only thing that could come from a conversation like that. But the people don't have any, intent on changing. So with that being said, I want to share something that I saw with you. Okay.
Not to mention Ras Baraka. See, I don't be telling all my business, but I was just with you at Costco's. We was personally together at Costco's. So I'm trying to figure out how you coming, my nigga. And then you know all this shit that's going on with me, with this Charles Cosby nigga, with this Columbia shit, with the World Trade Center, with Pablo Escobar, with Griselda Blanca. You know exactly what's going on. Your father knew what was going on too, son. Like, so I don't know what type of shit you on, my nigga, but I could have rocked you at Costco's and surrendered myself. They wasn't gonna kill me. I could have rocked you, then surrendered myself, my nigga. I swear to God, bro. Because you on some other shit, bro. I was just with you with them fake-ass $100 gift cards.
Okay. So, again, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. But yet we have, right, the mayor, instead of addressing this, right, he's constantly talking about illegal citizens who don't live here. What about us who live here? Why are you not addressing these widespread allegations as it relates to you being involved in any type of criminal element? And there's another video too. I'm gonna put that up.
If you ain't from BT, Crazyville, motherfucking Ellison Hopkins and all that, 21st and all that, motherfucking Court Street, motherfucking Johnson Ave, and what else? Like, that's about it, cuz. If you ain't from them hoods, cuz, and you banging a G, and you keep talking about Ras Baraka great, you gotta get your ass murdered, my nigga, because you wanna know why? If you saying Ras great, why the fuck did Ras put Blaze in jail, my nigga? So y'all okay with Ras crossing Blaze? So y'all gonna say, because y'all probably was scared of Blaze. So y'all was happy that Blaze went to jail. So now y'all could bang the G and do it all reckless how y'all want. No, nigga, I'm about to advocate for Blaze. If you ain't from those hoods, I said, you gotta stop banging the G. And if you, matter of fact, we coming to smoke you.
This is embarrassing. This video footage is airing every day, all day. If you go to this gentleman's page, he has a number of videos where he's making these allegations and everyone is seeing them. I mean, I think one of the videos, it was shared like maybe over 1,500 times directly from the page. That doesn't include the shares that happen from once those people shared it. There's been absolutely no addressing of these issues at all. And so, right, this is embarrassing. And I've heard of political theater. I'm actually very versed in it, unfortunately. But I have never in my life, as long as I've lived, heard any such thing as the continue. Because see, this is not just one person saying that. These are allegations that continue to resurface over and over again. And these are the people who we have in local governance who are supposed to govern over us. But then you see people constantly losing their jobs, again, for what? Speaking truth to power. You see our children, scores are dismal after the 10-year period that we've had this consistent administration in office. And we don't see qualified members getting on these school boards, and it's a school board election upon us now. We want to know who's running, but I'm going to come back to that at the end of this, which I'm about to land this plane very quickly. There is no way that I can listen to you tell me how bad Trump is when you have people in the community continuously saying that you are Crip. Now, one thing I do know about gangs, and I'm not going to front, I don't know a lot. I just don't know a lot. I know they exist. I know that they exist in groups. I know that they're subsidiaries to the Bloods and Crips. I know that there are some OGs who are CIA, but that's another story for another day. But what I don't understand is why is it that any mayor or anybody in any position of leadership would allow this type of messaging to go out through the community, especially at a time that they are currently running for governor of the state of New Jersey. That is absolutely insane. And the only thing that's more insane than that, than him not coming out to at least make commentary that is not true, or it is, he's just not saying anything at all, but everything that he does say is so passionate about illegal immigrants who shouldn't be here. It's a sanctuary city. Is it also a great city? Are we striving to make it a great state? The only thing that's worse than all of that put together is the people here being complicit. I remember such an outcry for any and everything that Cory Booker did when he was the mayor here in the city of Newark. And, we have the, Fifth Amendment and people can voice their opinions allegedly. Some of our rights are being snatched back again, but that's another lie. You have the right to say what you want to say. But why are the people not saying nothing? And the only thing worse than that are the women, because I'm still on them, because I still don't know how the women are not using logical, rational reasoning to vote in this past election. I can't believe that 93% of the women were voting, and most of the women were okay with just saying, oh, I'm voting for her because she's a woman. They didn't take into consideration her platform. They went along with the narrative about her being black. I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on. Sometimes I really feel like we're living in a twilight zone. Sometimes I feel like every day I feel like when I wake up and I see whatever news stories that greet me when I wake up, I feel like you gotta be kidding me. And that's why coffee is like honestly the only answer. I don't see the logic in this. And I also don't see how not only is the city complicit, that the county, whoever else that are the stakeholders here, who are the decision makers, who drive, who they put their support behind. I really don't understand why we don't put our support behind strong candidates, why we don't put our support behind knowledgeable, a qualified candidacy to spearhead the progression that we say we want in our communities. It does not happen. And so how long are we going to wait, right, to have somebody address these allegations? Symbolism, another topic I just want to get on really quick. It's almost like we have these people in office just sitting there because they happen to be black. I no longer, and I did once upon a time, because, like I said, as a nation of people within a nation, we want to see people in the seats of color. Like me, I'm just being honest. I would love to see a black woman as president. But when I look at her record and she's not voting ever in the interest of being black, that's problematic. It's problematic because inherently that's why you're there, to be symbolic for us, right? That's the identity politics got you into seat so that they can say, hey, we met the quota, which I don't think that exists anymore, DI. But the point is, we met the quota, we have a black person, but they're just there in symbolism. And it comes a time when you got to say, okay, I have this seat. I have to speak on behalf of the people, no matter what happened. I mean, there are people who are living in the streets and don't have any money. To somebody like the current mayor, who's worth at least $150 million, you don't have enough money yet or enough resources, because I know you got lots of property you have to have. I know that you have to have things that's going to constitute you to have wealth, in your future for you and your family, right? You don't have enough money yet to say, okay, I'm good. Let me put my voice toward the needs of the people. And so this is why I, along with many others, feel like it's just symbolic. So if it's just symbolic and you're not going to be there to even be a voice for us, right? Why put you there, period? That is the only reason I could see that would justify voting for other black people. I'm not just voting for you because you look like me and I'm walking away. Because some of you do. You vote and you just walk away. You don't pay any more attention. And so the candidates do the same thing. Kamala comes out. She brings all of these raunchy black females on the stage with her half naked. Notice how Kendrick Lamar did not do that last night. Beautiful black women, fully clothed, no BBLs. Because as a woman myself with daughters in the community, because it's not just about me and mine. I'm a part to a greater whole, and that's a philosophy I want all of us to adopt, that we have to be role models for our young ladies. And we can't do that by sitting quietly promoting a woman who is not black, right? And this is not nothing personal against her. And let me say, because I always want to say, because people misconstrue a lot what I'm saying. I think Kamala is a wonderful person. I think she's dope. I think she's amazing. She did not have to be black to get my vote. She could have literally ran on the candidacy of being an Indian woman, the first Indian woman. I don't care. I voted for Hillary when she was in office. I'm like, well, she's a woman. She's running. Okay, but I mean, at the end of the day, she ran against Trump. At that time, I thought that she was going to be the better candidate. But moving fast forward, I'm looking at the policies and I didn't align with the policies. And I want to just always not be remiss, but to make sure that I say, we need to be looking at the policies. We need to be looking at how people vote. And now with that being said, I want to segue into Miss Jasmine Crockett. Again, nothing personal against her. Nothing personal at all. I don't have a problem with her ghetto euphemisms. I actually like that. Yeah. I think you need to be true to yourself if that's who you are. But I wonder if it's who she is, right? Because she is a lawyer. She is, I'm sure, very rich, right? Very well to do. Or if you're playing a game, if you're sticking to a script to cater to an audience, to stoke fear, to have us voting, right, for something that's not in our best interest. Because most people, well, I'm not going to say most people because I don't know the stats on that many people are still inclined to vote along the lines of identity politics, saying, well, if I see people in the room, which one looks like me? She looks like me. She got on these lashes and she got the wigs on. This is how culturally, so I'm going to vote for her. We have to look at the policies. Like I said, you can't come on and tell me that you're pro-black, but you're sitting here, right, and you're voting for if illegal immigrants come here and rape and murder a woman, that you're going to vote to keep them here to stay. Why? And like I said, where's the outcry for the fact that these, and I'm repeating myself, but for effect here, where is the outcry about these illegal immigrants coming here and, being given voting rights when we still have yet to have solid voting rights for every 50 years it comes up whether or not we can be able to vote? It's very disrespectful. It's extremely disrespectful. And the only thing that's more disrespectful is us being disrespected, not knowing that we have been disrespected, and we're coming out with our whole lives, heart and soul, dismantling like relationships that we've had for years to support these people who they don't care about you. Again, it's a uniparty. There are little things that change here and there, but ultimately it is what it is. It is what it is. With that being said, I just want to say, let me make sure there's not another clip I didn't want to share with you guys. Oh, yeah. I did want to share one more clip. We already know that Trump is a nationalist. We already know that. We need political power. It's not going to come to us. Power has to be taken. And, rest in peace to Senator Ron Rice, who always said that to me, Sheila, power must be taken. And I used to, wonder, like, what does he really mean when he says that, right? It must. And it starts with the people not being complicit. So what I'm going to do to spearhead this, I'm going to have maybe a 2-week window where I call a community meeting. I'm going to establish a Zoom where everybody in the community who cares who's in office. Now, if you don't care and you don't mind Midi Baraka becoming the next mayor of Newark, then you just keep doing what you do every day and telling yourself and the rest of the world that you don't get involved in politics. You don't do politics. But if you want to have a say-so in your political future here in the city of Newark, just like the Ironbound just showed us, the current mayor, Ras Baraka, had a East Ward candidate. They said no. No, we have our own. And you're going to get rid of who you got and take our own. Or you won't get our support either. Finally, he did it. They did not take his councilman, who was a shady cop. And again, why are you always with shady people doing shady things? Again, this is what you need to be addressing with the community, especially a community that you want gubernatorial support for, because this is not the way to get it, just not addressing things. So anyway, and that's why I ended up winning for mayor in the Ironbound section. They did not care for at all that he shunned to have a debate about the issues that existed. And there's absolutely no logical reason or rationale for it. I made the ballot fair and square. He tried to get lawyers to say that I didn't live here. Listen, even with Congress, this same group of people sent this woman here, right? And again, this is not about talking about her. I don't care. It could be Karen Clark. It doesn't matter who it is. They sent a representative to Congress that did not meet the criteria, which was to have a certain number of petitions in. It wasn't done. It wasn't done. So therefore, she shouldn't have the seat. But it became a case. It's documented now. It went to court. It was kicked back and forth, but she's in the seat. So again, right, I think when things are done fair and above board, people may not like it, but, they don't really, have a lot of qualms about it. But in this case, we keep seeing Black symbolism. And some people have coined the phrase now, Black Zionists, right? And you can imagine where that name comes from. These people get into the seats and they're not supporting the things that Black people need. And so when we need or want something, we have nothing to negotiate because we don't have, after all of these years of having so-called Black leadership, an organization that you can go and say, for example, I want to run for mayor. So I want to bring my resume before you guys, right, as the common public, as the African-American public, and say, whoever else is running, we want to present this to y'all. And whoever y'all like the best, whoever has the best resume or qualifications or what have you, you guys give the feedback and decide who runs and therefore who wins. Because when you got 30 people in the Black community, because they don't do that in other communities. When you got 30 people in the Black community running for office, nobody wins except the person you don't want to win. It's a numbers game. And so what we're going to do is we're going to establish an organization. If the current mayor we have is not going to let us in, we see them all at the doors knocking because they don't want the audit. Well, we need to do some metaphorical knocking, right? Because we need access. When somebody disrespects you, right, or treats you wrong, when you're following the process, when you're following the rules, when you're trying to take care of business and people are being unprofessional with you in professional spaces, you need to be able to make a phone call and say, this happened. There's no access to do that. And that needs to change. I'm going to bring this to close. Like I said, I could really talk all night, but we're going to do that. I want to take this opportunity to invite you to the Sage community. I have a new book club that I host every Saturday at 8 a.m. At 814 Clinton Avenue. I'm going to be changing up places because I want to, hit different wards. But it's a book club. Books are important. Education is important. It develops character. It develops your IQ level. It develops relationships. And you need relationships, right? Because you need to have a network of people. And it's no limit of people who can help you get things done for you, your children, your family, your community, and so that you have access to one another. Right now, there's too many people who live on blocks and you don't even know your next door neighbor's names and things like that. So we want to change the lens on that, right? And so books is where it starts. So you guys are welcome. Again, that's the Sage Society. And we meet at 8 a.m. on Saturdays at 814 Clinton Avenue. Now, we have another event going on, and I'm going to be calling tomorrow, but for my group Wage, Women Advocating for Gender Equality and Equity, we are having a Love Day / Valentine's Day raffle. And so the raffle is scheduled to be held on Thursday. So the tickets are going to be 7 tickets for $5. And again, this is a fundraiser, and I'm going to continue to have fundraisers so that we can do some of the things that we need to do in the community on our own, because I don't know how many people are going to be getting money from the federal government now with this entire thing that's going on. And so we want to rely on ourselves. So I will be reaching out, but if I don't reach out to you, I can't reach out to the entire city. And if you want to even make a donation, please DM me or inbox me to do so. I greatly appreciate it. Those of you who know me, I'm consistent, and you know I put my money to this community, my own money. So if you can help me, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you can't, pray, send love, but money truly helps. And the last thing I want to share with you guys is also on Saturday at 8 p.m. we're hosting classes. And the class this weekend, because it was free last week, and it was free the week before. This weekend, the class is going to be on for $50. And the class is, amongst a lot of other very relative information, is going to be showing you some things like this. Let me show you a quick clip with this too. You guys could check this out.
Another shocking court secret judges don't want you to know. Here it is. By law, you have the right to face your accuser. So if you see the name of the state as the plaintiff, you need to make this statement on and for the record, and let the record show I have the right to face my accuser, and the accuser must be a living man or woman. Therefore, I move to dismiss this matter entirely. For more free tips like this, go to Amelia.
For more tips, period, to know how to beat some cases, to know how to not get arrested, period, or detained, come join us on Saturday at 8 p.m., right? And let's have a conversation about this. And again, the classes are $50, and it's not, you know what? And I could say this. I'm so positive about the information that's going to come from the classes. If you don't think that it was worth $50 at the end, you'll get your $50 refunded. That's how confident I am that you'll probably want to even give up more money. So like I said, we're trying to help the community, but at the end of the day, and this is for everybody, because I noticed that other people who understand the importance of this information are coming out, and it's not really the community. I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know what it is. So I'm not going to assume, right? Come out, get the information or not. But now I'm going to start charging for the information, because that's just what it is. Sometimes we don't value things when it's free. And there's a lot of people who do a lot of work to know more than lawyers know, right? To bring this information to you. So if people just too lazy, they just can't get up and get it. You know, when the situation, you know, happens, it's a little too late. So you want to be prepared, right? You want to be prepared. Last but not least, I think we have something else that is coming up. But I'm going to stop right there. And just say, for the people like Maxine Waters and Jasmine Crockett and LaMonica McIver, this is not personal. If you happen to see this commentary against any of you, I have a level of respect for each of you. I don't know any of you personally, but you're Black, so that comes with a level of respect, right? But so these are my criticisms. These are my constructive criticisms. If you are well-meaning, I would like to see you advocating for something that is specifically centered around African American people. It's too much yelling and cussing, right? for these people who don't belong here, for these same people who in many instances were in New York, right, flying their flags and saying some very derogatory things about this country, right? But that's neither here nor there. And I wouldn't even, not like this, I wouldn't mind advocate. I do mind the casual disrespect of the law, because there's no casual disregard when it comes to locking up black men and women in astronomical numbers while our representation basically doesn't say anything. You know, I know that Cory Booker has been very consistent in his advocacy for our brothers and sisters who have been incarcerated. So I'm gonna remove him respectfully from that fold. But I need to see that, you know, they didn't put you in office, we did. And lastly, I'm going to close by saying the comment that Mayor Ras Baraka made about the people who get arrested in Newark is not the immigrants, thereby insinuating that it's the black people that are being arrested. Like, wow. Like, do you know, Ras Baraka, that if they cut off SNAP benefits and all these other benefits, that anytime that there's poverty, that there's going to be crime? Guess where I learned that from, Mayor Ras Baraka? You. How things have changed. Thank you guys for joining me this evening. We're going to continue to change the lens in our community. And I'm going to continue to be, or try my best to be, the silver bullet, which is the solution, right? And that's why I never deem myself as an activist. I'm an advocate. I'm advocating for solutions. I think that there's a lot to be achieved when it comes to constructive criticism. That is always what this is, constructive criticism. Come out, talk about these huge allegations, because everybody else is, as it relates to people calling you a crip to the mayor, this message. If it's not true, just say it's not true. And if it is, whatever's going on, talk to the community. This is not a topic that can be ignored during a gubernatorial election. And it's far too much time in between to let this ride out, because dude is not letting off. He's not letting up. And like I said, I asked them if these allegations are real. I even said on there at one point, slander is against the law, because it is. But at some point, you need to come out and confirm or deny. It is what it is. Have a good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining, and until next time. Peace.